Hello.
Girl, what page you on?
Welcome back, everybody, to Girl, What Page You On? This is Ashley Speed Reader Parr checking in with the other glorious hosts. We have Kayla here for the History Collins and Samantha here for the Spice Shariah. We are finally covering Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood. And I'm so excited. Sam and Kayla are finally on the same page as me.
And all I have to say is spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. We are covering the first half of the book. That is a whole whopping 1 through 40 chapters, folks. So yes, and I can't believe it. We're actually doing this. Like it's super exciting. Like I have to admit, I was a little hesitant, but Sarah J. Maas has come through again for me, and I am addicted. I will fully admit I am solidly addicted.
Before we get into everything, though, you all, our lovely, lovely listeners, probably need a debrief. We need a debrief on this case. So, welcome to the 33rd. Here we go. We start by meeting Bryce Quinlan, a half fae, half human who works at Griffin Antiquities. Her best friend, Danica Fendir, is a werewolf, and she is the head of the Pack of Devils. Danica at the beginning leaves a family heirloom at the gallery that's owned by Jessica Roga. Jessica Roga, who is an enchantress who owns the gallery, with a fire sprite named La Hava. Danica's mother, Sabine, disapproves of Danica and Bryce. And now we have this third party, a human named Philip Briggs, who is being released after plotting a veneer attack. So this human who is starting a rebellion. Crescent City is ruled by 7 leaders with Archangel Micah Dombidus at the top. More on him later. Danica's second in command is Connor Holstrom. And we quickly meet the pack for pizza night. So we meet the pack for pizza night, and Bryce, who is known as our party girl, supreme party girl, is heading out for a date with her boyfriend, right? So while the pack of devils is at Bryce's apartment, Connor is kind of like hitting on Bryce and really wants her out, wants to ask her out. She's like, "No, I got a boyfriend." Finally, Bryce agrees, but she still goes on her date. So she has a date with her boyfriend, Reed Redner, who is a human. But later she breaks up with him and agrees to date Connor instead.
Should have dumped Reed the moment she got to the table.
So after she dumps Reed, she is heading to meet her friends at the White Raven. Connor confesses his feelings for Bryce, so she agrees to a date. The Vanir took over Midgard in an event called the Crossing. So it's important to understand that there's kind of war raging like all over the place in this land. Um, so we find out there are these like warrior angels in the 33rd, which is kind of like I would think it's like equivalent to the FBI, honestly. And they're marked with these tattoos so that we know that they're enslaved. So later, Bryce, she was out partying. She's drunk and high, and she returns home to find her apartment door broken and blood just everywhere outside. So in the reading, she's kind of like all over the place. And inside, she finds her best friend, Danica, and the entire pack of devils slaughtered. Their bodies are completely in pieces, and a mysterious, monstrous creature is feasting on an angel. So Bryce kind of like chases this creature out of the apartment building. She's completely enraged, chases it down. He's feasting on an angel, and Bryce attacks it and chases it away, saving the angel. Bryce is also injured, so we get some more characters. Isaiah Tiberian, Hunt Athalar pick her up and they interrogate her. They believe that Briggs, the human, summoned a demon that killed Danica's pack. Bryce survives her fatal wound and is confirmed to have an immortal lifespan despite her little bit of power because she's again half human, half fae. Um, we get a lot of politics in the next little bit. We meet Micah, who is kind of like the mayor or the governor of this, who is the governor of the town. And Sabine, who is Danica's disapproving mother, who now is accusing Bryce of for all of this for happening. Um, we get a little insight where Bryce kneels by the bone quarter, which is where if you've passed away, you put your body on a ship and we send it down to the bone quarter. It's like the afterlife. So we get this moment where Bryce kind of kneels here. We assume she's like praying for Danica's soul to cross the river. Um, but then she gets a warning from another member of the old pack saying, "You are not welcome at the sailing. Like, you are not welcome here." Then we get a flash forward 22 months later. So Bryce, still being Bryce, still at the Pink Pony Club, she's hooking up with a lion shifter at the White Raven before meeting a character, Maximus Tertian, who is a wealthy, unmated vampire about an ancient artifact on behalf of Jessica Roga. So the first light grid is powered by energy that's released by Vanir or beings with magic during the drop. So Bryce secretly stopped partying after Danica's death. So she's out here just drinking seltzer water. Everyone's getting drunk on the in the club, but she's just sipping seltzer water. Love this for her. So later, um, we meet we find out that the what is it called? Vampire that she meets
Yeah.
with ends up dying. So he ends up being murdered. And so this kind of spurs this whole investigation, right? So we get to be our winged daddy of the book, Hunt Athalar. He comes back into the picture and he starts helping with this case. So because this vampire who Bryce had just met with was murdered, we have to now she's kind of pulled into the case. Hunt is a fallen angel who works for Micah. He works directly for Micah. He's actually a slave for Micah. More on that later. There's a whole lot that kind of happens in the next little bit, but essentially we have Hunt, Bryce, a little bit of Micah, and then a couple of other characters from the 33rd, including Bryce's cousin, Rune Dannon, Prince of
Crown Prince
the.
of the Barbarian Fae.
I knew you wanted to
Ashley's
finish that
favorite
I
line.
have
sentence.
been saying that for a long time, but it's just how it was presented. Rudanin, Crown Prince of the Barbarian Fae.
Ooh la
Like, come
la.
on.
So Rune leads the Fae division of the Ox, and he is the Starborn Fae Prince. He is supposed to get all these shadow powers. Is it giving Azrael? It's giving Azrael from, right? From our ACOTAR series. So he and Bryce were once close, but they had a falling out after her uncle or Rune's father called her half-blooded nobody, essentially, right? Called her mudblood, wasn't cool, never cool. We get a little more of the friendships that Bryce has kind of blossoming. But then it really starts to pick up once Bryce kind of like jumps into this investigation, right? She's desperate to find who murdered her best friend. So Bryce and Hunt go and visit the meat market, which is kind of like the black market. So they're buying what's called obsidian salt, which is tied to hell. It can summon demons. They meet with the Viper Queen, who is kind of like the queen of poisons. And she tells Bryce to look where it hurts the most for answers about the murders, but doesn't really tell them much more. The investigation into Danica's last days kind of intensifies. Hunt learns that Bryce secretly bought the Chimera or Syrinx, our little pet baby Syrinx, bought her freedom, and he kind of respects her for it. So they have a little bonding. Rune also informs her that the Autumn King, Rune's daddy, is tasking him with finding Luna's horn, a powerful Fey relic that was broken during the first wars. And we know that the demon that had attacked everyone at the very beginning is called the Crystallos demon, which was literally made to find Luna's horn.
Stalos demon to me, for some reason, I just imagined this very pale white guy with glistening nails. Like he just had his a manicure done. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I
Continue.
it
felt like
was
I had been sucked into Supernatural.
A little bit.
it was like terrifying. So we have yet another murder that occurs. This time it occurs at Luna's temple. Bryce realizes that the angel she saved the night that Danica died was in fact Micah, I know, the kind of
So
ruler
shocking.
of this. So it should, like, he should not be able to be taken down by anything that Bryce couldn't be completely wiped out by. Um, Her role in this whole rescue was covered up to protect his reputation. We have more catastrophes with a bombing at the White Raven where it injures Bryce, and she protects her friend Juniper from the blast. Juniper gets mad at her because Bryce has not made the drop yet, and Rune and Hunt take care of Bryce afterward. Hunt notices that Bryce has unhealed scars from past injuries and pushes her to go see a medwitch. And we find out that the bombing is linked to the human rebel group whose symbol was found alongside the Horn's emblem left over in the club. Micah orders Hunt to assassinate another target. Meanwhile, Hunt visits the Oracle, who is a Sphinx, who warns him that someone wants the horn to open the Northern Rift and that he should stay away from Bryce Quinlan. Bryce's Oracle visit as a child is revealed. When the Oracle looked into her future, she tried to claw her own eyes out, the Oracle did, and went blind for a week. But after that incident, Bryce's father abandoned her. So that's the reason she was abandoned by her Fae father. They visit Philip Briggs in prison, who claims he actually liked Danica. He reveals that she met up with him multiple times before arresting him, warning him to stop his actions. Declan, who is one of Rune's friends, hacks footage from the night that the horn was stolen and finds that the video was tampered with. The person in charge of the investigation who tampered with it, likely Sabine Fendier, Danica's mother. Because of this, they start to suspect that Sabine might be responsible for the murders and the stolen horn. Hunt has an unfortunate thought about Bryce's toes, so we start to get a little love interest here. No one asked for that. Just saying, Sarah J. Maas, no one asked for that. Rune consults a med witch to see if modern technology could potentially fix the Luna's horn, right? A potentially broken magical object. She's not sure, but says it might be possible. Victoria uncovers city footage showing a grainy image of the Crystallos demon. It didn't attack anyone, but was spotted circling Sabine's territory before disappearing near the Rose Gate, furthering our suspicions of Sabine. That is your very long 40 chapter brief. Very hard to cut it down, but I literally could not put this book down. Like,
I think we are
could not.
down. We limited it down to like one or two bullet points per chapter. So Sam streamlined this as best as we could.
I felt like I just talked for 20 minutes.
You did great. Well, it's a lot of information. Like we have a murder, we have a long period of time after the murder. We're learning new characters, we're trying to investigate other characters, we're learning a new city, we're learning a new world. It was a lot, but you couldn't put it down, could ya?
No. No. It was so once first off, take away the thoughts that you think that Crescent City is linked to Court of Thorns and Roses because in this book it is not. And that's what threw me off. Once I got past that, I was fully invested. I was going so fast. I was keeping up with speed reader par for once in my life. And but
Yeah, it's really like it's a modern society, but you get like a little bit of everything, right? So there's fae and there's werewolves and there's vampires and there's sprites and there's chimera and there's like every magical being you could imagine. It's just like it gave me everything I ever wanted.
I'm not gonna lie, when I was thinking about this as she was doing the world building at first, I was like, oh, this is Zootopia for adults.
Magical Zootopia.
Yeah, I don't know why. I
Except for gratuitous violence.
So, but I think so because there are so many important characters, and since we went so fast, let's give a little bit of character descriptions because we flew through these chapters, and we're so sorry, people. But it was very nice and convenient since it was broken up into like four parts apparently. And these are the first two parts with a couple chapters into the third part, just to make it like an even. So. In true ASK form, Ashley.
So, everybody loves Bryce. Bryce is who we all want to be when we grow up because she is a number one high seating member of the Pink Pony Club, is she not?
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, yes.
So we know she's half fae, half human. She's 23. She works at Griffin Antiquities. She's got a great job, I feel like. I mean, she studied history at college where she met her best friend Danica and was planning to make her drop at 27 and just a really strange relationship with her dad. I can't wait for you guys to really get into that relationship or potential relationships in the future. She loves to dance. She was always told like she didn't have the body for ballet, which is where she kind of met her other friends that we see in the story. But she still goes for it, you know. She still is the flexibility, the grace. They just said that she was too curvy, and I think all of us girls can attest to you are never too curvy to dance how you want.
And
So
Her best friend is Danica Fendier, who agrees with that statement completely. They are like, honestly, I thought that they were dating for the first little bit of the book. I had to text and be like, wait, are they a thing? But it's like when you have that best friend who people question, like, are you guys together or not? Like, everyone has one. We all have a bestie like that. So, Danica is a werewolf from a prestigious line, and she is actually in line to be the prime of the Valbaran werewolves. So she is in line to be kind of like the leader. In the book, they mention that she is like one of the strongest. She has the most potential of any of the werewolves in this region. She is the currently the alpha of the pack of devils. So I think that the Valbaran werewolves are kind of split into different packs, and she's the alpha of the pack of devils. Um, and she's just like super powerful. She and Bryce have really great relationship at the beginning, and she's also known as the party princess. So if you imagine like I don't know, I kind of imagine her as like an elite athlete, right? So like you kind of know of who they are. So if this is like today's world and we make a comparison, you kind of know who they are and you're like, "Oh, like why are they partying all the time?" So like it's kind of like in like the social media of Crescent City that she's like raging and having a good time. She, as we mentioned in our debrief, was brutally murdered in the very like early chapters of the book, along with her pack in Bryce's apartment, which was absolutely heartbreaking.
um also just I had to toss this out because I always cast people. Miss my calling as a film director and casting director. Um, Florence Pugh is who I immediately saw as Danica.
Totally.
Just she's a like badass, kick-ass girl, and she just like don't take no shit. Um, but and of course, Jessica Roga, 400-year-old sorceress, born as a witch, but it deflected kind of thing to like she's no longer welcome in the pretty much the house of where the witches are. So she's gone over to Flame and Shadow. She answers only to the Under King, and his uh Griffin folk and keeps Lahaba, who is a fire sprite. Love her. Oh my God. Just she gave me such Calcifer vibes. and gave Bryce a protective amulet that she wears um, pretty much like from day one, which is really good.
And like, so I'm gonna go back to Lahaba. When I saw her, I thought she was Calcifer. I was like, a female version of Calcifer, and she is just so much fun. And you kind of your heart breaks a little bit because she's this tiny little fire sprite, and she's being enslaved to, be part of or guard, I guess, the antiquities of it. So it makes me really, really sad.
I love Lahama. I love that it's a fire sprite who's in charge of the books.
Right?
It's so
And she's
funny.
not tiny, like she's voluptuous. Like she's got
Mhm.
curve. I mean, I'm gonna say this probably a dozen times that the curves are real and alive in this series.
Lahama also be watching reality TV.
Yeah, the trash TV 24/7 on that tablet.
I love it. I love it. So Syrinx, who also lives at the Griffin Antiquities with Lahava, Syrinx is a chimera who is brought in by Jessica to protect the gallery, but she ends up being Bryce's pet. Bryce is like, please don't get rid of him. Do not sell him to anyone. I will be taking him. And after Danica passed away, um, we get her like taking Syrinx as like an emotional support chimera, which is hilarious because they say that chimera are supposed to be really protective and fierce of their owners. But he's just like a little fluff ball. He just like wants to love, like protect Syrinx at all costs. Okay, do we hear this, Sarah J. Maas? Probably not. But protect Syrinx. That's all I have to say. Then, when we're just going to continue here, we have Sabine Fendir, who is the alpha of the Moon Pack. She's Danica's mom. She's super, super powerful, and she's next in line after Danica. So if Danica wasn't born, Sabine would have become the prime, but because Danica was born, I think there's like some talk of there being some jealousy there. So then when Danica dies, that's another reason that Sabine is on our suspect list. Because in Bryce's mind, it would make sense because she wants to be the prime, so she had to get Danica out of the way. Sabine hates Bryce, and she blames Bryce publicly for Danica's death, and she also has her pack of wolves, kind of publicly shaming Bryce in a really, really nasty way.
Yeah, and I can only imagine like if Danica was alive or any of the Pack of Devils still alive, like that would have been like, oh no, 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 like because they enveloped Bryce into that. Um, so Connor Holstrom, I absolutely loved him. And I'm pretty sure in one of our previous episodes, as we were like talking about starting to read this, I was like, oh my God, if they kill Connor off in the first fucking part, I will be mad. And I am mad. I am mad. It's like a wholly emotional roller coaster again. But Connor is Danica's second in command for the Pack of Devils. Had a long-standing crush on Bryce, which is so cute. Like I have to say, like persistence definitely helped. And like she always had this connection with him. So it's like, why didn't you? But at the same time, it was like the best friend. Like you don't date your best friend's brother kind of thing. Um, but he always kept asking her out. And then Bryce finally agrees to go on the date. And of course, he's killed the same night. Which is like not, they don't even get a kiss. They don't get, and like, it's the whole what if. Um, and Connor also has a younger brother, Ethan, who is part of Sabine's kind of, I guess, house after the Pack of Devils. I'm sure Ethan, if he was a little older, he probably would have been in with the Pack of Devils, to be very honest. But because he was younger, he was in with the Big Moon Pack. So, but yeah, I loved Connor. That was so hard.
I was, yeah. Yeah, and now that I think maybe that's why I had like a thing with like Liam and Fourth Wing is because it reminded me of Connor and all of them. All right, next we have Philip Briggs, leader of the Human Rebellion, and wants to overthrow supernatural beings and plans a nightclub bombing and starts a war. And he finally gets arrested by Danica and the pack, but is later released on a technicality, which we see a lot of in crime reality TV kind of stuff, right? And then we've got he's suspected of summoning the demon that killed Danica and the pack as revenge. And then our next amazing large wingspan character coming in is Hunt. Hunt,
We have
Hunt,
to have our
Hunt.
shadow daddies, don't we?
Woo!
Our winged
Hunt,
shadow
Umbra,
daddies.
Hunt
Umbra
Aquilar.
Mortis. Um, yeah. So Hunt
I'm
is a
sorry. What a noise to make for Hunt.
huh?
You just had the perfect like
He's
Yeah,
like rough though. He's like rough around the edges, which
love it.
he's literally the instead of
He's a
morphly gray,
Cassian
he's
with
winged gray.
angel wings. He's Cassian with angel wings.
Mm.
Um, so we have Hunt. We find out he is a fallen angel. He is enslaved under Micah, to be his personal assassin. And he has this rare power of lightning. Uh, and he has this crown, that is a braided thorn tattoo around his forehead. And like he's kind of, you kind of have a soft spot for Hunt in all the things that you learn about him. And he initially sees Bryce as this spoiled girl. He's stuck following around and watching her nails get done, and her driving around the city on a moped is just priceless. Especially since he's an elite warrior assassin. And he ends up getting tasked with helping Bryce find out who murdered Danica and the fam. But possible love interest? Question mark.
I
Oh,
feel like
for
it's gonna
sure.
be a slow burn.
Yeah.
We have Isaiah Tiberian. So Isaiah is the commander of the 33rd who Hunt works alongside with. Of course, Hunt also has ties to Micah, like Ash was just saying. So the 33rd Imperial Legion is kind of this army of warrior angels. They're an elite military force, and they all answer to Micah. So Isaiah is a former rebel, just like Hunt was. So he has the same kind of like tattoo and the same brand of like it's a ha tattooed halo of thorns. Is it? What does it seem like? But Isaiah's power is he can summon winds. Like he can summon really powerful winds.
Oh. And then probably the Rune Dannon.
Crown
Crown
Prince
Prince of
Prince
the
of
of the
the Bar.
Lavarn
Lavarin
Fae.
Fae.
Yes. Um, so my first instincts of him was like, this is Resam 2.0. Except for he has blue eyes instead of purple. Like I literally think I called Ashley and I was like, "Oh, is this like, oh, he's definitely related to." And then obviously there's no connection yet. Um, but oh, so yes, he's the crown prince of the Rabaran Fae, who's also the son of the Autumn King, known as the Chosen One, the Starward, um, prince, and like he goes back generations. He has the Star Sword. Um, Everybody believes that Bryce is his cousin when in reality, she's actually half siblings. And he has shadow-based powers, different than the fire magic that his dad has. Mad theories on those. But yeah, like I mean, I liked
I
him a
mean,
lot.
there you I love Rudanen. He, yeah.
He
You
sounds like a
just hear,
Wild
I
West
can
character.
hear, I can hear it. Rudanen, Crown Prince of the Velbaran Frey. And now you can't not hear it. All right, next is Micah Damatus. Archangel of Crescent City, ruler of the Central Business District, commands the 33rd. He's super powerful angel, head of the army, and answers to the High Six. I'm gonna say this wrong because I read it. You guys listened to it. Is it the Esteri? Is that how you
Yeah,
guys pronounce? Oh,
yes,
I nailed it.
sorry.
All
Hmm.
right. And he offers a huge butt reward for the recovery of Luna's horn that was a ancient Fey relic that now everybody's trying to figure out where it went.
So the Asteri are six ruling immortals that kind of rule over the Eternal City, which is the capital of Pangea, which is where Crescent City existed. So there's a seventh throne that remains empty, honoring a fallen sister, and the Asteri kind of have like this kind of what they say goes. So there's like common law, and then the Asteri can come in and say, we're doing this instead. Um, and then we have kind of changing directions here. We have Fury Axtar. So Fury Axtar is one of Bryce's close friends. She is partying with Bryce the night that Danica dies. Um, she's also like this like really mysterious, like cutthroat wraith, right? I think she's a wraith. I'm not really actually sure. And she's really, really powerful. She kind of like prides herself on knowing the secrets of Crescent City, and so she's often paid to go and be an assassin. So we think, we assume she's always telling Bryce that's classified information.
Can I
But she
make
parties hard.
so when I read Fury, was I the only one who thought of a certain member of a night court council?
Yes. It was Amryn,
That's
but
all I could think of was Amryn.
But Fury doesn't have like a love of jewels, does she? Like Amber?
No, but
to
all
be
of their
to be
like
honest,
everything else just screamed it to
I thought
me.
more about Victoria as like an Amryn thing. But before we get to Victoria, since we're already on Fury, we need to talk about Juniper. I like she was so sweet. She is Bryce's other friend, who's a dancer who's out partying that same night. Um, and she's human from what I remember.
No,
No.
so
Oh no.
she
Oh, she's the fawn.
she's
She's the
like she's
fawn.
a
Yes.
fawn.
Yes. Again, this, like I don't know why I forgot about. Have you ever seen the show um B-Star or
He
Best?
starts. That's
Yes.
exactly where I thought too.
That's kind of what I thought was like how they have like the deer human like things. That's kind of what I pictured her as.
Yo,
Um,
if I was a fawn, I'd be Mr. Tumnus, though. I would not be a
yeah.
dragon.
Well, that's how she's portrayed as like half human, half. So like the bottom half is fawn, top half is human looking. And she's got this beautiful golden sun-kissed skin. Um, yeah, I mean, she just sounded so gorgeous in description.
Yeah, and
So,
she's super
and
sweet.
she's also a big dancer. She actually like does it as like her job. That's her career. But yeah, she was out partying with Fury and Bryce the night that Danica was sadly slain.
Yep. And then I think our last character is Victoria,
Yeah, getting
right?
back to Victoria. Yeah, I
Yep.
think she's my Amryn
Victoria,
character.
Wraith, former rebel angel, now trapped in a borrowed body, and gets interrogated by Bryce after Danica's death.
See, Victoria reminded me more of Amran.
Ditto.
I, I don't know. I
Just the
mean,
way
I
she
thought,
acts.
yeah, it's funny like how we pull different characteristics of
Hmm.
other character. And see, maybe you guys are doing the same thing, knowing like we there's the prediction of Akatar crossing over into Crescent City. And so maybe that's why we're trying to pull those connections too.
Well, it's so easy, especially when like Rune's dad is and Bryce's dad is the Autumn King who has flame powers. Like it's pretty
Yeah.
easy to make that connection. And then hearing Rune's powers, like it is almost a verbatim description of the Bat Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Rune doesn't have wings.
No wings.
No
But
wings.
but without the wings, he's literally Rasan. Just blue eyes instead of purple.
Yeah.
Um,
So we are obviously loving Crescent City.
oh yeah, it's an addiction.
What do you love most about it so far?
That the world building only took not even one chapter, and I was already immersed in it. Sarah J. Maas, I bow down. You like, and the thing is that she doesn't be like, and the buildings were white with glistening stones of marble, and like she doesn't do it like that. She's very much like is following Bryce. Like she picks up her phone to answer her best friend Juniper, the fawn dance. Like how she does it is so streamlined, I think that, and it's so good. It's so good. Like I love Sarah J. Maas.
And she does a nice job making it like this more modern story, without feeling like it's the same world as ours. Like she does a great job like allowing us to connect to the characters in that way. Like Bryce snapping a selfie or like getting her nails done or like, you know, partying or dancing or just being with her friends. We can like we're easily it's a very familiar feeling for us. Um, but it's also so different. So it's like very intriguing to keep reading.
It was really hard to stop.
Yeah.
I didn't want to stop. It's so good. And especially because it's a murder mystery. And I love a good mystery. But I love that how Mike it was like, you two are gonna work together on this. And something about Hunt that I don't know if we mentioned was that he had this big debt from the war. So every life that was taken, Hunt has to pay back, which is like 2,000 lives or something. It's probably it's a little less than that, but it's over 1,000 lives. And Micah says, um, I will cut it down to 10. I will cut it down to 10 if you can figure out who did this. Um, which is like, okay. So Hunt has a little bit more backing, to like hurry up and find this, which I don't know if necessarily if that's going to help or aid his like push to it because I feel like he blamed or like he's still thinking of Bryce for a long time. Like he's like, "Oh, you could do it, you could do it," and then it took her seeing her re visceral reaction to a crime scene and to realize that she didn't do it. Like she loves Danica. She's clearly 2 years later still in mourning.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, and it's like they she we noticed through Hunt's eyes how hard of a time Bryce is having with it, but he didn't realize because he was like, "Oh, you're just a party girl. Like, what do you know? Like, do you actually care? You guys were doing drugs. Like, you're no good." But we also then see through his eyes how, and I loved this line. It was Bryce is wearing that dress as armor. Right? He's just saying
yeah.
how he realized all the makeup and the nails and the outfit is armor. And I just like really loved that because don't we all do it? Right? It's like
Yeah.
I have a meeting, like I want if I look good, I feel good, right? And he kind of gets to see some of Bryce and then she ultimately like opens up to him a little more during the investigation in this first half. Um, and then there's like a there's definitely a will they won't they. It's just like the slowest burn on the planet. But I'm really excited to see where this takes the two of them because honestly Hunt also seems like he has a lot of demons that he can't share either. And I think that's maybe why he can level with Bryce. I think he's like, oh, he's starting to see that she has issues going on too.
Yeah, and I think like him and she thinks that he's still jaded as well, which he is. I like he's saying how his ex I can never remember her name, but her twin is Sandriel. I do remember that one. And Sandriel's like one of the like God-fearing archangels of the not the 33rd, but like who's in charge of the 33rd. Um, but yeah, and like I really wonder how badly Hunt was manipulated in that situation because like was it love or was she playing on his feelings to get what she wanted, which was a rebellion? So I'm kind of anxious to see where that goes.
Yeah, I was interested about that as well. Because he like loved. So Hunt was part of that rebellion, and he kind of like fell in love with the leader of it. And then he ends up taking the fall for it, which is kind of shitty, like you said, right? Like he has to kill, so like he owes Micah like assassin numbers or something. Like it's crazy. But I had the same exact feeling, Kay. I was like, was it love or we
Was it in
getting
manipulation?
Man eater, make it work hard. Poor
Yeah.
little Hunter.
But I can't I couldn't believe I called it early. Like I got so much emotionally involved with Connor already, and then it was like, nope. I was like, how could
I know, I was like so excited to get like a little werewolf situation. We have to read a
yeah.
wolf book
I
next.
thought that they'd at least get one date.
I know, like literally nothing. And then like Bryce just goes into this horrific depression, right? She just kind of is like, I, and I would do the same. Like all of your friends, like they're having pizza in like chapter 2 or 3 or whatever it is. Like they're all together eating pizza and having a movie night, and it's just like so wholesome. And you're like, wow, like she already has her friends, and then that's like ripped away. So I can't imagine what that's like to go through. And you really feel for Bryce. Like she is definitely one of my favorite literary characters, I think, at this point.
So some of my mad theories have been, and I keep calling Ashley, and Ashley's like, I'm not telling you. Um, but so Sabine is definitely a hard peak on my list for the killer. But so is Jessica. For some reason, I feel like Jessica is somehow in this because like they're like, oh, look close to home. Like, and the only person that they haven't deep dived into is Jessica. So like, and she's a witch. I mean, she could do whatever. They do know what like she can summon demons. Like, I mean, she's got God knows she turns people into shit all the time. She has a whole gallery full of them. So, I mean, so I was that's kind of where I'm leaning is like Jessica.
One of the other theories that I had was that it was Bryce and she was just high off her ass and like was I wouldn't say she would do it her like herself, but I think maybe she was like drugged, right? Given some crazy drug. And I thought it was Bryce. For I was like, oh my God. Because like there's a moment where she like looks down and there's blood on her hand before she gets into the apartment. And I was like, okay, you could read into it like maybe she like touched it, but like maybe she was also already like covered in it. So that was like I remember being like, ooh, I like interesting. Like this could be a path. So well, I mean, I don't think that ultimately, especially as we get toward like the end of the first half here, like I really I would it would be a stretch for me, but that was one of my my mad theories.
Yeah, I keep like hoping that what if Danica's not really dead? What if Danica has like manipulated this whole thing and faked her death? And because they don't know where the sword is, like the last time we see the sword is in like the first chapter when Danica comes in and tosses it in a closet. Um,
And there's like no mention of it after that. It's like literally like
yeah.
you get it in that first chapter and then like no mention after that.
Yeah. Ash, do you want to chime in on our bat crazy?
Actually, so when I first read it, I was like, Sam, like there's blood all over her hands. Did she just murk all of her friends because she was on a really crazy acid trip? And then I was like, oh my God, no.
Yeah,
Because as
that's
soon as
kind
like
of
you see her like in the alleyway with Micah and her leg is bleeding out and she's got this, and then we jump ahead and it's, the 22 months later thing and she's got this giant scar on her leg that still aches and hurts. And you're like, there's no way she could have done that to herself. And there's no way that she could have been taken on Micah. Like they've, uh, especially with being half human and they've, this archangel is supposed to be super powerful and at the top of the food chain. I was like, there's no way. So, but yeah, like her, I love the fact that they showed, yeah, like her armor and stuff, and that the fact that she isn't a party girl anymore. She's drinking club soda at the club, and is so it was. I love Bryce as a character. Like, she just, I love her. That's why I was so excited when you guys, started. We're gonna read it. I was just like, you guys get to love this character as much as I love her.
I also like think I was suspicious of Bryce because she had like multiple almost deaths and like then she like gets grazed by the Crystallos demon. But then everyone who she kind of comes in contact with then is like, not everyone she comes in contact with, but all of the murders, like she was there either with the people the day before it happened or when it, like hours before it happened. So I think like this demon is linked to her somehow. And I think too, like, because, she like saved Micah from it, but she wasn't like she had like an injury on her leg. Like I still like have this weird inkling that it's not trying to kill her necessarily, but it's just trying to like get her or bring her somewhere. Like there's just like a weird connection between her and the Crystallos. Um, and then it also like sparks up, that's like one of the things, and I think like you were saying before, one of you were saying before, like Hunt thinks that Bryce is the murder for that reason because there keeps being these like connections like that.
What if, this is probably a really big one. What if the Chrysalis demon is actually like a shifter and it's like somebody who once like you said, once Bryce is trying to take her, like what if he's eliminating all of the things in her life to pull her closer to somebody else?
Oh,
What do you think?
interesting.
I just want like I was just like as you were saying that I was like, ooh, what if it's like a boyfriend, like an ex-boyfriend? Oh my
No, I
God.
don't think it is, but that's so
You don't think it's
funny.
the human boyfriend?
No.
But what if he's the one that did it because he's mad?
I don't know. I just think he's like a nobody. I think he's just like a throwaway character for some reason.
Mm,
I mean, maybe Jealous Ex could be. Um,
Ashley's just like covering her face, like trying to hide her
I was
facial
yawning. I was yawning.
expression.
It's a long weekend.
Uh, okay, well, I'm so like I am
You guys
almost
gotta
done
go
reading because I
finish.
want to finish it so bad.
I'm close to finishing the book, the first book now. Kayla and I are listening to it on audio,
The
which is really
graphic
cool.
audio
The
is
graphic audio is really good.
it's definitely because they're set up in tracks. Like there's 10 tracks, 10 or 11 tracks on each. So there's like one half and then the second half, which is why we're splitting it up that way. But it's interesting because in those 10 tracks, it's the 40 some chapters, 40 chapters in those tracks. Um, but instead of being like, and the walls were this and the birds were tripping and stuff like that, the graphic audio, this is the first time I've ever listened to a graphic audio. Usually I just like listen to the unabridged. And it's really interesting, like because Do you remember like as a kid at the late night, like they would have like the shows running on the radio? I may really be dating myself or just like stuff that we would listen to.
I used
I
to have like a
remember,
disc, like a CD that was like that had like stories.
yeah,
And they would do like voices and they would have like the audio or like the sounds like of the scene around them. Like if it's raining in the scene, like it's raining in Crescent City, like you hear it raining, which is I like it a lot. It's really cool. I keep listening to it at nighttime, like before I go to bed, because I just want to listen to it. And then I keep falling asleep. I'm like, dang it, gotta go back.
you're better than me because like I put it on and then it's like I can't stop. I can't stop. I can't stop. I can't stop. And then like if I turn and like start talking to somebody, I'm like, crap, I have to restart.
That would
Because
be
I
me
don't
if
want to
I
miss
was
anything.
anywhere near Hunt Athalar. I
Hunt
can't
is,
stop.
yeah, can't
We
stop,
love
won't stop. Yeah, sorry. This
we
is the
love
Pink
boys
Pony
with
Club.
big wingspans.
I
Mm.
hope that we see like because like Rune, sorry, tangent. I hope we see Rune like getting into a relationship. Ash, can you confirm is are all three of the books in the series Bryce's standpoint? I know we
So
get chapters. Like in this first half, we've gotten some like chapters, some other
yeah.
perspectives or moments from other. So I know that there's other perspectives, but is it mostly Bryce's standpoint again?
Um, I want to see the second book. If I remember correctly, I'll get a refresh when we start reading it again. But was Bryce with a couple others, and then the third book is multiple characters with
Cool.
Bryce being focused, but a lot of other people are getting pulled into it. So the third book was awesome. Second book was awesome. You guys are gonna love the ending to this book. I know it.
All I
I
have to say
also
is I know Sarah J. Maas will never leave a cliffhanger that makes you feel like oh like emotionally wrecked. Like she'll like leave it open for another book. So I'm hope oh no, you're making a face. Is she gonna do that to us in this? You're making
Kayla, thankfully
oh
we have the
shit.
complete series,
Yeah, at
is
least
all I
that's a
will say.
plus.
so far it's safe to say that we are loving this book. Like this first half is just like so good. I'm just like really enjoying the world building. There like a lot has happened. So we get Danica's death, we get the interaction with her and Sabine. We think that's like at the very end of the first, we think Sabine's the killer. So it's all very exciting stuff. But I have a sneaking suspicion because of ACOTAR, like it was the last 100 pages of all of those books that were really like, okay, it's all coming together now. Like, and I still like with Onyx Storm, not to hate on Onyx Storm, but it's like such a slow burn, and then we still just get like a little, just like two answers and then more questions. So for me, I'm really enjoying this slow burn in a different way because I feel like it's a complete world.
I feel like we're eliminating characters though with this slow burn. Like we're or not eliminating characters,
Literally
but
though.
like we're taking them off our suspect list.
It's like
Yeah.
playing Clue in Crescent City
Yes, yes, very much so.
on a little pink Vespa.
I love it. I have a little red one. So, well, we'll consider all of the theories that are going on and but until next time, folks, I'm going
Ladies, I have a date with Lahaba. Her and I have to go watch some reality TV on our little pillowcase or on our little pillow. So Lahaba and I forever watching reality TV. I love
This
her.
is Girl, What Page You On? We appreciate you stopping by Griffin Antiquities, and we'll catch you later.
perfect.